So there's that saying, nothing sure in life except death and taxes. But on the other hand, the Lord said, he that believes in me shall not die. So a lot could be said about that, and I hate to burst the bubble here, but I'm not really going to go into it here right now. But I do want to talk a little bit about taxes, because that is also not so cut and dry, not so guaranteed. If we don't have death and taxes, what do we have to lean on? Well, we can lean on the rock. But look, taxes. Why is this a really big deal? Well, to keep it short, it's a really big deal because it's an absolutely enormous percentage of your income. And there are many legal ways that at least some people could use to reduce their tax bill. The death and taxes phrase is credited to Ben Franklin. Another thing he said is a penny saved is a penny earned. That definitely applies to money that you save on taxes. And so all of this is going to sound like a commercial because I actually know a guy who's an accountant that specializes in taxes. And you might know a guy too. I'm happy to put anybody in contact with him if you want to send me an email at upwardthought@gmail.com. But my point isn't necessarily to drum up business from him. He's not paying me to do that. Although donations are always welcome from all people up to the value that you find in these things, as long as it doesn't displace anything more important. But on a serious note, it can have life-changing effects because you got to understand that every dollar you earn, it goes through the tax filter if you're earning it legally. And there are ways that you can recapture that money, legal ways. And it's very particular to whatever your circumstance is, which is why you either need to do some research on your own or go talk to someone who does this professionally. And of course, you want to keep things above board and don't make mistakes in things. But there's so many opportunities out there. And if you think about the money that you make and how it has to go through that tax filter, if you're paying something like 40 or 50% in taxes, that's an enormous chunk. What if there were something you could do to recover, I don't know, maybe just a piece of that? How much of that would you have to recover to make a significant difference in the amount of money that you have? And again, this would be without having to make any changes per se to how you earn it. Some of the changes you could make are related to that, but not all of them. And so a simple way of thinking about this is it worth looking into whether there is some kind of change you could make to drastically increase the amount of money that you take home out of your check? And again, a point I've made many times is that surprise requires surplus. And a lot of other things are good to plan for too. So depending on your age and circumstance, maybe it's not a bad idea to start thinking about retirement. And some of the tax savings that you can reap has to do with how you handle that. There are ways that you can take deductions out of your pay without paying taxes on them to save it up for retirement later. And that money you can grow outside of taxation. But I'm skipping over all the details because it's not the point of the video. The point is to help you see that there are options here that maybe you haven't thought about before that might have a very drastic positive impact on your life. So if you know somebody who knows about these sorts of things, I invite you to chat with them about it. And if you'd like to be connected to someone who does this for a living and you don't have a better option, I can throw an email at you of a guy who you can talk to. So I hope you think about it because, like I said, it can make an enormous difference. The starting point is to sit down and look at how much you actually pay in taxes. And I'm not saying just limit that to the very superficial understanding people have with this. Actually look at what's taken out of your check if you're a W-2 employee, or the bills you pay if not, and add that up. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. So things to think about. Death and taxes are not certain.